Lions are going to end up, and last year, the whole thing with Stafford winning the Super Bowl, it made the Lions look like they did Matthew the biggest favorite in the world at their own price. But now it looks like a good trade.
It did, Pat, but I think some of that is just luck. Let's just call it what it is. You didn't know that Donald was going to go down. You didn't know Stafford was going to go down. You didn't know that so many pieces of the puzzle. Cooper Kupp, like, you can't know that as a GM, assistant GM at the time. Like, oh, these guys are going to get hurt in 1 year. So, no, it was fortunate he made the trade because, at the time, I wanted the Carolina trade because I thought, okay, you're going to end up with the pick, 25th or something because you thought the Rams were going to be good again. But you know what? You can take advantage of it.
You felt like you were going to have to use the bottle.
Man, if that's the case, if I'm Brad Holmes, I'm running up to the podium to say Will Anderson. But, the little chime kicks in, Lions are on the clock, and now they're off the clock.
Yeah, Will Anderson would be, they have to take a quarterback at some point. I know people can't stand that idea, and I understand why, especially when the quarterback field is settled out. But you got 5 picks, so you've got a lot there that a lot of maneuverability, flexibility, ways to trade up, trade down, a lot of different things. Eddie, you're on the Lions post-game show on the Lions Radio Network. What's up, Eddie?
Yeah, hi.
Eddie.
Hi. The Lions play good in every facet, dominating today. But about Jared Goff, can we all agree that he's doing really well, that he's only 27, he's improving. He outplayed everybody's golden boy, Trevor Lawrence, today. Trevor Lawrence had one pass for 17 yards. That was the longest completion. And I've also heard Goff was making $30 million. I looked it up, he's making 26. So can we all agree that he's the ideal quarterback to have for 2 more years while we draft and develop a rookie, and then at the very least have a backup? So,
Eddie, first of all, Jared Goff's cap hit. His cap hit is $31+ million this year.
Okay, on this website.
Yeah, and it's over 30 next year. Okay, so what he's getting paid is different than what his cap hit because he restructured his contract. So you got to be careful with that one. The other one you got to be careful is talking about Trevor Lawrence. He didn't have Zay Jones, Goff, he was thrown to today. Zay Jones dropped 3 passes, and Goff was Lawrence. He wasn't why the Jaguars lost that game. I'll tell you what, if the Lions had a chance to trade Trevor Lawrence for Jared Goff, they would do it in 3 seconds.
No, I don't think they'd do it. I've said before, I've never.
You don't think they would do it? I know they would.
And Eddie, and here's the other thing, with Goff contract coming up, they're not going to extend Jared Goff. They're not. And he's going to want money.
They're going to have him budgeted for 2 more years. $26 million, according to this website. Didn't say 31, it said 26 for the next 2 years. Why would you want to get rid of a guy while you're going to draft and develop another quarterback?
Because Jared Goff is smart enough to know that he's not going to let no athlete lets their contract run out. He's going to want to renegotiate his contract next season. At that point, the Lions have to decide whether they want him back or not. He's just not going to say, guys, I'm going to play for 2 more years and then we can negotiate. That's not how professional sports works.
Well, he has a contract, doesn't he have to?
Eddie, I appreciate the call and everything, but I'll tell you this, Eddie.
Was that real?
Eddie doesn't think Trevor Lawrence is good. The Jaguars have a much better chance than the Lions of winning a Super Bowl in any time soon. Because of their quarterback.
If the Jaguars right here, right now said, before we leave, we can leave Trevor Lawrence if you want to make the trade, they would just tell Jared Goff, just take it all, we'll ship it to you.
No, they wouldn't even agree to it. They would take Brad Holmes and say, man, you've lost your mind. We're going over to the hospital for an MRI on your brain. Okay? That's what would happen. I mean, that's what would happen.
Because here's the thing.
You can picture Peterson go, nah, man, we want Goff instead of Lawrence. We're going to get rid of this guy we're paying $8 million for, 6'6", and, can do all this stuff. We want Jared Goff.
He's going to get better. I mean, because and that's why I don't want the Lions to take a quarterback in the first round, because once you take somebody that high, fan expectation is ridiculous. I mean, I'm quite sure half the people in this building was expecting Jameson Williams on the first play of the game to get it and go 75 yards down the field and score. It doesn't work that way. And when your contract is coming up, unless you're about to retire, no athlete sits there and lets it in because you lost all leverage at that point. So he's going to want to negotiate this thing next year. And if I'm the Lions, yeah, probably not going to happen.
But yeah, Eddie calls about Trevor Lawrence all the time, sometimes here on our flagship station, 97.1.
What does he got against Trevor Lawrence?
I don't know, man. One day you thought Spencer
It is white
Torkelson
gold.
looked like Mickey Mantle, and then it's like, he can't hit a fastball like you said, Pat. That happens in this business.
Yeah.
But anyway, 248-539-9797 is the Lions postgame show. We would love to hear from you today. We'll get
It
to
is
some of
white
your
gold.
text as well. And just enjoy talking to you. What did you think of Eddie's call? That was a good one. Would you trade Trevor Lawrence for Jared Goff?
Yeah.
That would be something I could see maybe the Lions doing at one point.
Yeah, we could.
I mean, who's the most valuable quarterback in the league? Well, you got some other guys that are getting paid a lot of money, but a lot of people would be in line for Trevor Lawrence. Hey, Mike, you're on the Lions postgame show. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
I'm impressed with the Lions. I think they have some tangible things going on here. I got to be honest, when they were 1-6 or whatever it was, I did not have a lot of faith. But they're literally like one play away from being 6-6 right now. And their schedule, guys, is not that hard going forward. I believe there's winnable games on there. You know what I mean?
You know what? You're preaching to the choir, Mike, because I said I look at the back end of this schedule. I thought it was going to trip them up because it may hurt them for draft picks, but right now, if you could win 9 games, you truly could put yourself in that graphic that everybody loves to be in and say, oh, look, they're in there at 4-7, well, now 5-7. You win 9 games, and now, Pat, you have a legitimate shot at getting, playing into week 18, which I know we're not used to having here in the city of Detroit.
Well, I'll say this. They win 9 games, Mike and Rico. That would be a terrific season for the Lions, especially the way they started. I thought all this stuff that people were saying in the preseason was just, come on. I was trying to talk people down from this incredible high. It's like they went and gobbled up all the edibles and stuff and were hallucinating. And I said 5, 6, or 7 wins, was going to be where they're going to be at as long as they're making progress with their younger players like they are. If they get to 9, man, that's a bonus. That would be, hey, they're playing for a playoff spot. And a lot of things have happened. The Packers, that organization's basically collapsing right now. All right, I know Aaron Rodgers is still putting in the good old college try. And, you got A.J. Dillon and all that. The Bears are going to come up, I think, and be better. But the Vikings, I think this is their last flame of the light bulb in a way with the Cousins, Cook, and, their receivers.
Now, let's be real, Pat. They're this season's lucky team. And it's not to say they don't have talent, but sometimes a team just leads that charmed life and they find ways to pull out games that they shouldn't. I think that's the Vikings.
And the thing is, when you got big time playmakers like Dalvin Cook and you got Justin Jefferson,
right.
And Thielen always comes up with these catches, even though he was one of the best receivers in the league for a number of years. He still got that aura and the way about him, which we saw when the Lions played him. And defensively, they've been a little bit better than what I thought, because a lot of the age on that particular defense. But, I got to say that bottom line about it, if the Lions were to get to 9 wins, that could be something that's really good. But it's like I said, if they start out 0-3 next year, you're not going to care about them now. It's like the year they finished 6-2.
Right.
And then ended up starting at 1-7, everybody got fired.
If they start off 1-7 next year, I will be bitterly disappointed because, like I said, I guess I'm buying into these young players, and that means that there was a disconnect in the offseason. Maybe they should petition to have Hard Knocks come back again. I don't know, but you got to be able to keep this thing rolling because like I said, this isn't guys who are about to retire or the contracts are coming up and they're in that contract year. You've seen it where in a contract year, a player has the year of his life, and they can never duplicate it. These guys are young. The Lions control their salary. you want to just keep building and let that roll into next season, especially with all the high draft picks that you have coming up in this draft. Just don't disappoint, because you're right. Right now, I'm hesitant. I feel like you want to just say, okay, you're buying in, but
Rico, you can't have Hard Knocks come back because that goo is still stuck on this dish here. It kind of gets there where you can't just get that all off, no matter how many times you put it through the dishwasher and it's still there.
Yeah.
That sticky goo that came, with the Hard Knocks where the entire town was just rolling in sugar and was so euphoric. I mean, Billie Jean dance and the pants with the dust in it. You're right, Rico. And, maybe the arguments and the where they're challenging each other. Deuce Staley and
Swift
and Glenn.
Oh, Glenn. Yeah.
Can start yelling at each other. No, we're gonna get you today. We're gonna get you. All that stuff is really working out. For them right now. But Hard Knocks comes again, man. This town couldn't stand it. It just couldn't stand it. It would be, absolutely crazy. It's going to have trouble handling draft day if the Lions win 9 days. It'll be like, the Super Bowl hype, which is good. I'm happy for it. Well, for the town, but it's like, man, you don't want to overstate what's going on.
No, but for the first time in a long time, Pat, we're not doing draft shows. We're talking about they could actually win games, and the Rams are losing. So you get the best of both worlds, and you can worry about, can we make the playoffs? And you also have one eye on, okay, are we going to end up with a top 3 pick? But it's not at the Lions' expense, which at the beginning of the year we thought that pick would be the Lions would be in the top 3. So no, I like the fact that, now I think 9 games are achievable. I think you can get 4 more victories out of this season.
JB, you're on Lions post-game show. What's up, JB?
JB.
Yeah. Just a couple things. I think that the Lions discipline is a lot better this year. And I think it'd be great. The Lions did draft for defense and create an identity. And I can't remember when the Lions had a name. Pittsburgh has had Steel Curtain, we've had Doomsday Defense and all, Orange Crush. But if they
we had the Silver Rush.
Come on, JD, you don't want all that, man. Dude, restore the roar and
no, Matt, you remember the Silver Rush?
Rico's got a T-shirt that says #1Pride on it. So these slogans. Come on, identities are what you actually do. And if you have a name, a moniker that comes organically, that's what you need.
Right.
Okay.
If you come up with the name, it's a gimmick.
The name comes after, and this stuff like Another One Bites that does. This town's been through that. Over and over and over again. This is a franchise that was 6-2 at one point, and ended up going 1-7, and then the next year didn't win a game. All right, we've seen this over and over again. This is not the first time the Lions have ever been 5-7. All right, it's maybe the gooeyest 5-7, with happiness, and for reason. There's, maybe some justifiable progress toward a bigger goal. But, the identity thing, the first time it doesn't work. Like, for example, Dan Campbell used the word grit, right? And people were like, yeah, gritty, making fun of it and all that. Today they were gritty. They've been gritty the last 4 or 5 games.
It's like horses are still sleeping.
Stinker, everybody does. People will be saying, that gritty stuff. And, just do something, and then everything else will fall into place. Right? Am I wrong about that?
Yeah. The nickname comes after you do something.
Yeah, I don't want to, what are we going to name? Come on, put the nickname from Amon-Ra St. Brown.
If you do that before, it's just
the gritty grabber.
No, it's a gimmick, like grit and all that other stuff. Right, that's what people make fun of. It's when you do it and it happens, then that's when the defense gets the name, because that's their identity. Get the identity first, get the name later.
And a lot of things these days, man, about players in particular, it's not the nickname like they used to have all the time. It's just their first name. Pretty soon you would just call them Amon. Pretty soon you would just call them Hutch. Pretty soon you just call him Rodrigo. Well,
Right.
that
Well,
was
they
kinda-
already got that. But yeah,
Yeah.
like Amada, you know, I've heard Sun God. Like you get your name. Okay, fine. But yeah, the defense.
You didn't like the gritty grabber for Amara St. Brown?
No,
That's not good.
no, that sounds like somebody from To Catch a Predator.
There you go. The gritty grabber.
Yeah, that's not something you probably want to say.
Kyle, you're on the Lions postgame show. What's up, Kyle?
Hey, what's going on, Pat? Rico, a pleasure to talk to you guys.
Hey, Kyle.
Lions win. Rico, just really quick, aside from your normal point, you just said something about, hit a point like about guys in a contract year. And I feel like guys in a contract year are, it's the same in the job world as it is opposed to like a life and death fight over a meal in the predator world of nature. I mean, they are hungrier. There's more chemical reaction where they're fighting for more. And like Pat said, these guys are young, they're hungry, and they have everything to fight for. And I think it's only going to go to the benefit of everybody except for, i.e., Jared Goff, who maybe just could find knowing that he's already set for life. But a lot of these guys, most of them, in fact, are not set for life. And that gives me good hope moving forward. But aside from my first point, my main call was that, I mean, just like they do in the college rankings where you look back at the teams you face and judge them later on at the strength of win and victory. I mean, look at the teams that the Lions have lost to. I mean, we've already established that Dan Campbell cost you the Vikings game. If your defense could have come up with one stop in the Seattle game, you would have won that. You almost beat the Eagles.
Is this Vicky's car?
Minnesota game. The
Is this Vicky's
Eagles
car?
game and the Seahawks game. Those teams scored at will on them, and they just basically ran out the clock on them. Those games were not as winnable as the final score indicates.
But they weren't out of reach. They were not out of reach is all I'm saying. I'm saying that this flawed team that we knew and we weren't even sure if they were going to win 5 games has shown at least a fight against the top team